Welcome into the SummerTree Sports Podcast. I'm Elijah. This is Hayden, and we have a special guest with us today. All the way from Omaha, Nebraska, is my cousin Luke. Luke is an aficionado on
everything,
all things really, all things sports, as far as I know.
Besides NASCAR.
That's not a sport.
That's all right. I'm here for NASCAR. It's a sport. It's totally a sport. We talked about it. Remember what
it's impressive, but it's not a sport.
It's physically demanding.
That doesn't make it a sport.
To me, it's a sport. What makes it? Wait, hold on. What makes it a sport for you?
I know it doesn't make it a sport.
What doesn't make it a sport?
I think if something does the work for you, or my other criteria is if you can drink or smoke, then it's not a sport.
So what about
so golf? Don't think it's a sport.
Is tennis a sport?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so no.
Hold
on. I'm quoting something else. This isn't about tennis anymore. Now it's about football. Did you ever see that, like, Today I Learned, where some dude, like, during halftime is, like, smoking a cigar?
Oh, yeah. And drinking a Fresca?
Yeah.
Or whatever?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that story.
But that was at halftime. Like, people, like, John Daly rips cigarettes during a match.
But people weren't smoking cigars during NASCAR race.
No, but that was my other criteria. There were two criteria.
Okay, part two.
One is that another object does the work for you, period. The other stipulation is if you can drink or smoke while playing the sport, then it's not, or activity, then it's not a sport.
If you're talented enough, you can drink and smoke, I feel like.
Well, the guy in the longest yard was smoking the cigarette, remember? And he takes it out and burns the guy?
Yeah, that's right. And if we know anything about the longest yard, it's that it's a perfect representation of football.
It's definitely factual. Anyways, sports are back as far as I know. The MLB resumed, not resumed really.
They're trying to resume at least.
Yeah. If you haven't heard, they had a successful-ish weekend, and then it was announced that 8 personnel from the Marlins tested positive for the coronavirus. Evidently, they knew before their final game with the Phillies, and they decided in a group chat that they were just gonna go ahead and play. Seems pretty irresponsible to me, but
what's a little coronavirus, anyways?
Yeah, I mean, you had it, so but it's like as infectious as the disease seems, even though like players playing baseball are wearing masks and stuff, like you're not really worried about social distancing, like while trying to tag out a runner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. The craziest part about it is that COVID, yes, is very easily attained.
It's attained, like it's a ranking. Congrats.
But none of these players were experiencing any type of symptom.
Yeah, well, I think that's because for the majority of these guys, they're between 25 and 35 years old. And I think, and in pretty good physical shape. Some baseball players.
Some of them
are not in great shape. But most of them are in very good shape. And so it's not, they're probably going to be asymptomatic. So... But they knew before the final game.
Yeah, I mean, it's inexcusable and it's kind of ridiculous. But that we're even having this conversation about these players. But none of them experiencing any symptoms. I just wish that the MLB could have come up with a bubble.
Yeah. I think that's kind of how everyone's looking right now. Like, should the NFL go to a bubble?
At this point, who cares? We found out the other day that my parents aren't renewing their season tickets, so
it was the saddest news.
I don't even care anymore.
Oh man,
I can't even go to the games. So just put it in a bubble. I don't care.
Since your parents are season ticket holders, have the Titans released anything about capacities or anything like that? Is like an inside information to season ticket holders before they discontinued?
Officially, what it was they were one of the first ones to put out something saying that only season ticket holders are going to be able to go. Single game ticket holders, they won't be selling those, and in fact, I think they refunded them all. Like if you had already bought one, they went ahead and refunded it. So as of, I think right now, only season ticket members are going, and I don't know, and I know like the first 10 to 20 rows are going to be
tarped.
Yeah, tarped over.
They can't just spit on the players unless you got some great range.
We don't have those kind of fans, really. I mean, I know that there's bad bunches everywhere, but that's more like Saints fans, I think. Probably Jaguars fans, honestly. They're the worst.
I'm interested, is it a team by team case in terms of like how they're navigating this whole thing? Because I assume some teams have a higher amount of season ticket holders where may not be able to say certain things, or they might be wanting to get some extra money with single game ticket holders that don't have as many season ticket holders. I just don't know, and maybe I haven't done a lot of research on it because I've been just focused on NBA that haven't returned, but on what the NFL teams have kind of navigated, I literally have no idea in terms of how they're doing it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of team by team. I know that like as far as protocols for the coronavirus was team by team because they had to be approved by the NFL. And I think 20 out of the 30 whatever are approved. But I think so just because like seating capacity is so different, but you also have to think about all these different stadiums in different states. You know, like I wouldn't be surprised if in California and New York, they don't let any fans in. But states more in the South, you know, might allow.
Florida's going to let everybody in.
Who's that? Georgia?
Florida teams are going to give tickets out to people.
Yeah, Florida's going to say full send. We
want all 90K in Ben Hill, Griffin. We want everybody full to the brim. Jacksonville Jaguars, Tampa Bay Bucks. You can't be missing out on money with TV coming to town. So,
well, I expect Florida to do the thing that would harm the most people.
Yeah. Exactly. They're going to give out tickets out. They're going to have owners just sitting outside the stadium just handing out tickets. That's all it's going to be.
I mean, that's basically what they do anyways, to try and get fans in whatever, I forget the name. Everbank? Is it Everbank? Is that where the Jags play?
Wait, is that Everbank or what's TIAA?
That's the Ravens.
Okay.
TIAA.
Banks.
Anyways, so I think really I think that the MLB was honestly just trying to get rid of the Marlins. I think they were just like, damn, we hate y'all.
That's rough.
We're just going to get rid of you. I think that's what they're trying to do. Yeah.
And in turn, I was really happy yesterday because Yankees fans were real upset because their game got canceled because the Phillies, that's who they were playing, had played the Marlins previously. So they canceled that game as well yesterday. So I have a couple friends who are Yankees fans that were, distraught there wasn't a game last night. Of course you have, maybe happy.
Of course you have some friends that are most likely from Florida that are Yankee fans inexplicably.
One is from New Jersey, but yeah.
Okay, New Jersey I can handle, but
yeah, the other one's not. Yeah.
Anyways, so Luke, give your title to everyone for the people.
So I have a hobby and I have a
No, I mean with career. The university.
The university, right. So my career is I'm live event director for all things in Baxter Arena, in which at the University of Nebraska Omaha, the biggest sport is hockey. So
which
don't
Luke knows nothing about.
Oh my gosh,
until this past year, I knew nothing.
I'm going to Lincoln this weekend.
Hey, that's not far.
What?
Yeah. A wedding. Because I got family. I actually have family in Omaha. We've talked about that.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, Lincoln's about 45 minutes from me.
I'll wave. Give you a wave.
Yeah.
From Lincoln.
Just wave on your way over.
Yeah. So, Luke, how is it going to look different for you are they 1AA? Like, because they don't have a football team, right?
Correct.
But who do they play as in?
So we're in the Summit League, which is like Miami, Ohio.
Okay. But that's just for like hockey, right?
Right. Yeah, for that. But volleyball still is like Denver University and teams like that.
Okay.
So it'll look. I don't know what it's going to look like as far as play this year. I know they're meeting on it pretty soon, and they're, we all speculate that it'll probably get pushed back the season, at least the fall sport, which is really volleyball for us.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that, but I know that they're trying best they can to hold on to hockey. We play some pretty big teams in hockey, like Michigan and teams like that, and Denver, who's really good, and in our conference. So there's a lot riding on this season, obviously, for a lot of colleges. It's interesting. It's like we're talking about, Ivy League. Ivy League, they shut down till the spring for sports. And it's like, yeah, but they don't need that money anyway.
Yeah.
They're private entities. They're getting all their money from their smart people. They don't need any athletes. So, but for teams like University of Nebraska Omaha, I mean, if you lose hockey, that's a pretty big dent in any type of income. So I think hockey usually starts late October, early November. So I'll hopefully have a decision made, obviously, by then. But who really knows what that's going to even look like?
Well, I don't know what it looks like for I don't know what it looks like for hockey, but I know with football, I know a lot of these smaller schools, I'm sure, are very hesitant to call their season, because you think about a school, we're in Clarksville, which Austin P is here, and in the past they've played Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Wisconsin, schools like that. Georgia, they played last year, 2 years ago, and I mean, that's like a cool $500,000 at minimum, sometimes upwards of $1 million. So I have a feeling that a lot of these, 1AA conferences are like, hey, let's not cancel this just yet, because we're going to miss out on a ton of money from, a Power 5 school.
Yeah. I mean, they're looking at a lot of setbacks when it comes to small schools. These small schools are the ones that are going to suffer the most. These football programs are going to be just fine, big ones, but the smaller ones, man,
if they play, if they
play right, and regardless, they're not going to get that, any money. And I mean, you look at schools that have recently shut down their football programs, like UAB, and then reopened. They're going right back to their worst nightmare with this season.
Yeah, and I think that some schools will just actually end up shutting down if they don't have a football season, because for most schools, football is the only sport, or maybe one of two sports, that brings in money. I saw, I think LSU, they bring in a ton of money from football. They bring in a little bit of money for basketball. And then on baseball, I think they break even. And so I think you're going to have maybe not state schools, but kind of like what you were saying, like private schools. They won't shut down, but I think there are some smaller public schools like a UAB or, maybe a Troy, that not the school shutting down, but that are going to have to take a real hard look. And you've seen a ton of schools, drop men's soccer, men's track, women's, field hockey, whatever it is. But yeah, it's interesting. At first, I was hoping that all this would kick it before football season rolled around, because I can't imagine Florida and Tennessee playing in an empty stadium, but it looks like that's what we're headed for.
Well, I don't know if you guys have caught many of the sports that have been returning, but UFC has been going for a while now, since really the beginning of COVID. And obviously fighter versus fighter type of setup. It's you test 19, 20 guys and girls, and then you have an event. You just don't have fans in there.
For sure.
They've been going for a while, and doing really well, because most of those, it's a very tightly shot sport. In terms of TV, it doesn't feel like there's a lot missing. Basketball, surprisingly, they really shouldn't be surprised at this point. The NBA does a good job with executing production stuff and working with those TV networks to get the best feel. But that one didn't feel weird to me at all either. The only one that felt weird to me was baseball.
See, I lean the other way. I thought baseball was fine, because unless there's a big play or a score, a run crosses the plate, there's not going to be constant noise. But in basketball and football. I think it'll be really interesting with football, but in basketball, like, it's been weird for me to watch like the Grizzlies scrimmage in a ballroom at Disney, and you can hear the players super easy. You can hear the squeaks really easy, but there's no crowd noise. Like, I think the sports that are impacted so much by the crowd is gonna be really weird, even for the players, but also for fans watching on TV.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely different angles. Baseball is just like, yes, there's not as many big moments, but those big moments matter so much that, like, when the ball just flies into the arena seats and it just clanks across a metal seat.
Or it hits a poster board.
Yeah, it's like, all right, the poster board as well. It's like, this is a little awkward.
Takes the head off little Sally in the third row.
Yeah, and announcers are talking more, I think, because in sports, announcers are taught to let the moment breathe, right?
Yeah.
And they're not able to do that because there's no reactions, but like players from the dugout.
Yeah.
But the thing with NBA is that I liked that they have the virtual the LED boards across kind of your broadcast view.
See, I think that's worse than the poster boards.
Think so?
Yeah, because the poster boards, it's kind of like so cheesy that it works, kind of. But the LED boards, first of all, if I was a player, I would get super distracted by those. I don't think the poster boards are like, I think the poster boards, it's like, yeah, whatever. But people do some weird stuff on some Zoom calls, man. So,
hey, I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
Oh man,
you're at a disadvantage because we can see you, but you can't see us. All you see is my me.
All I see is a yellow
meme.
avatar right now.
It's from the Me and the Boys meme with the Spider-Man villains.
Yeah, you just had a great pause. We can talk about the list. I see Hayden's got it pulled up. The list of football players that have opted out of the season.
Yeah, let me do a refresh because it could be new.
My personal
The
favorite
whole
was that,
Patriots roster.
What'd you say?
The whole Patriots roster.
Yeah, basically. I saw that Chance Warmack opted out of the season, who the Titans drafted in the first round a while back. 2013,
yeah,
something like that. And someone
pretty
was
much
like,
a bust.
Someone, yeah, he was horrible. Someone was like, Chance Warmack's been opting out of the season since 2013. This isn't anything new.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give some names on
some
this
of these.
list.
Honestly, like, I'm a pretty big NFL fan. Some of these I've never even heard of.
A lot of these are like undrafted rookie. Yeah. But people you have heard of, probably Devin Funchess, Marquise Goodwin.
They just had a daughter, right?
Goodwin?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Isn't he? I don't
the
know.
One that had a daughter her daughter died, and then they just had another daughter.
Is this the same wide receiver that was made headlines a week or two ago? Like, besides Deshaun Jackson, I think Goodwin made some.
Probably.
With all that.
Oh, we could talk about that too.
Yeah. Michael Pierce. Well, I feel like we'll talk about that later. Michael Pierce, Star Ludulele, Eddie Goldman. We have this guy.
I'd never even heard of him.
It's for the Titans. His name's Anthony McKinney. He's an undrafted free agent. And it's weird to me that he would opt out. I don't know his situation, obviously, but it's like, one, he doesn't get that $150,000. I don't know what they're calling it.
Practice squad.
Yeah, well, no, it's like if you opt out and you had a contract, you can get like $150,000 or $350,000. But
wait,
if
you say they do get money if they opt out?
Some people. He wouldn't though because he's an undrafted guy. So he doesn't get like he's
That's
not
why I think Chance Warmack opted out.
There's a good chance he's opting out, and he's not going to be getting that money, and he's also not going to be getting that opportunity.
Yeah.
So that means like his situation, there's got to be something more to it. But that's just baseless conjecture based off of somebody I have no idea who he is. Patrick Chung, Cole Wick, Kyle Pecco, Andre Smith, yeah. Dante Hightower is probably the biggest name. Brandon Bolden, Marcus Cannon, Danny Vitale, Najee Torin, another undrafted free agent. Chance Warmack,
D'Anthony
and
Thomas,
Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. Those are probably the biggest names.
Yeah, I think maybe name-wise, Hightower was the biggest, but I feel like the guard for the Chiefs, Duvernay-Tardif, I feel like that was like...
He kicked it off.
I understand his a lot because, like, he's a doctor and has been, like, on the COVID front lines. So I understand his... And obviously, like you said, we don't know the personal situations of each of these players.
Like, I think this little blurb here for...
Like, Dante Hightower just had a kid, like, 2 weeks ago.
This little blurb... Where did he go? For Chance Warmack? I think it said that someone in his family passed away because of COVID.
Oh.
So it's kind of... As much as we were giving him crap, you know, Warmack had a family member die, according to a source.
What... I mean, the craziest part is... There's not many teams that have more than one or two guys that are opting out. Yeah. Then you look at that Pats roster.
Six, and they're all pretty high name.
Yeah, even their fullback, their starting inside linebacker, starting safety.
He's not the starter, but one of their key player, Brandon Bolden. Cannon, jeez.
Do you think that's why Vic Beasley hasn't reported yet?
Well, yeah, I was looking on there. He's not on there because he's on the PUP/didn't report list, and so a bunch of our guys are actually being put on that on the PUP or the what is it?
Corey Davis.
Yeah, there's they call the reserve/COVID list now. So like we put our first round pick on the reserve/COVID list. So it could just mean
he's got the
reserve
COVID.
Or specifically for COVID, so we don't know. There's a lot of people. Jaylen Brown on the PUP.
Yeah, but Jayon got hurt at the end of the year. Yeah. Anyways,
so are all these guys on these lists? They opted out for the whole season, correct?
Yes.
And I think once you make the decision to opt out, I think you can't opt back in, similar to how baseball was.
Yeah,
because that would be a roster. Sure, that would be a roster nightmare. You know, if you say that a cornerback for your team opts out and then they sign Logan Ryan to a $10 million deal, and then the other guy's like, oh wait, no, I'm coming back, then I mean you could be over the cap and be like, oh sorry dude, but that guy's still contractually obligated to the team.
Yeah.
But at that point you can't take him back.
I would imagine it's an opt out and you're done for the season, which is crazy. That I don't know if there's like a deadline for this.
I think it's tomorrow.
Oh, never mind. I was gonna say it's crazy they need all this time if it's like within a week. Never mind.
Yeah, I saw it today, but I can't remember what it was.
Hey, did you guys also feel poor this morning when Adam Schefter tweeted out Joe Burrow's contract details?
Yeah, what was it? 30.
It was 36.1. So the overall tweet reads, but the second part's my favorite. Overall tweet reads: number one overall pick Joe Burrow has agreed in principle to a $36.1 million contract with the Bengals pending a physical,
they should
physical
be
later this week. He goes on to say Burrow is receiving 100% of his $23.88 million signing bonus from the Bengals within 15 days of executing his contract.
Cash money.
To answer your question, I always feel poor. So, yes, I did.
Did it make me feel more poor? Yes.
Right. Yeah, so that's wild. Just $23 million within 15 days, almost 24 within 15 days of executing the contract. I mean, I can't imagine.
And if he hits any sort of expectations, like Pat Mahomes,
holy moly.
That's a new part owner right there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he officially
bought part of the Royals. But if $560 million or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like, can you spend that much money?
I can try. Damn it. I will try my damnedest to spend that much money. I mean, I wonder how much of that he actually gets. Could get more.
Right.
Yeah.
Could get more.
Well, that pays him till what? He's like 35 or something?
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, that contract looks monstrous, but, you know, in 7 years or 8 years, whatever, you know, when Pat Mahomes is over 30, you're like, we're paying this guy $50 million this year? Like, should we move? You know what I mean?
Oh, no. get securing your future, but you're one bad injury away
100%.
from just a disaster. Just a disaster.
Well, people tried to rag on the Titans when they paid Tannehill, but the thing was
Try
is like
signing him after that.
yeah, like Tannehill had a good year last year, so you've got to go off of that. I find it hard to try to go off of Adam Gase because I think he's the worst coach in the NFL. And so you've got to go off of his last year. And by the time all the quarterbacks got paid, like I think he might not even be top 10 anymore. So it doesn't look like that bad of a contract at this point, you know?
Right.
Did you guys see like the year by year breakdown of Mahomes' contract though? Like year by year, it is hilarious just how much it escalates so quickly. It's like it's pretty gradual. 2022, I'll go year by year here. 1.5, you're at 5.5, back to 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 10, 13, 20, 27 by 2030, and 2031, he's at that 38.
Yeah, so I wonder, like, I mean, in 5 years, if he's trash, which I don't foresee.
Yeah, probably not.
In
But
5 years, if he's trash, like, he doesn't get a fraction of that total number.
Yeah.
So it's definitely backloaded.
how much did he get guaranteed already?
270, I think.
Or
230.
Yeah.
He's still. Ugh.
Yeah. Just straight cash. Luke, what are you hearing as far as Luke is from just outside of Orlando, 45 minutes ish. So what are you hearing
of America?
You said the what?
Hot spot of America, baby.
For COVID?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good title, man. So what have you been hearing as far as like how the bubble's going? I know that you follow a lot of like Magic beat reporters and stuff. How's the bubble working? It seems like other than Lou Williams, it's gone pretty well.
Williams ain't nothing but a chicken wing. So
hey, did you see that food though? That food looked good though.
It did look good. I have a buddy who said texted me and said, you know, I've personally never been to a strip club, but I might have to go in, my hands over my eyes, and grab some chicken wings. So,
Johnny Manziel said it was the best wings he ever had. And Johnny Manziel's been to a lot of strip clubs.
That's a lot of strip clubs he's been to.
So what have you been hearing as far as the bubble there?
I mean, it seems, I don't know. It's weird. It's like it's the dream of an 8-year-old, right? To be just stuck in this bubble at Disney, and these NBA players probably feel that way at first, and then they're like, oh man, we're locked in here for like 2.5 months, 3 months. It's
also
crazy,
hilarious that they were comparing it to the Motel 6.
Yeah, that's kind of wild.
I've stayed in some Motel 6s before. That was not a Motel 6.
That's not a Motel 6, and the Motel 6s don't have the amenities either. They just put in a pop-up barber shop for them.
Yeah, and they brought in like special beds because NBA players are too tall for regular beds.
Right. So, they're being pampered. They've got whole rooms that if they don't want to go to the barber shop because I don't know if they've brought them in or if the NBA brought these people in, but so they've got the barber shop, and then they've got JaVale McGee has a YouTube channel. Don't ask me how I stumbled across that. I have no idea. But JaVale McGee has a YouTube channel, and in the YouTube channel, they weren't even in the barbershop. They were in just like this huge, joining rooms where they had barbershop chairs, and they had places where you get a manicure and a pedicure inside this area too. So, I definitely don't feel bad for them.
Yeah.
But I imagine if you're guys that are making, millions of dollars, maybe this does seem kind of whack, just because you have to stay in there and like you could be in Barbados right now instead. But like the whole COVID thing throws things off a little bit though. So they're in the safest spot in America right now. That bubble is just rock. It's solid.
Other than some like bland town in Iowa, yeah, 100% there.
Iowa? Did somebody just say Iowa? Oh my gosh! I think he just said I think, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's time for the Haydens Iowa Hawkeyes update of the week. Who's excited? I know I'm excited. All right, so here's the update. Hold on. Let me type it. There's a cat on the screen. Enjoy the cat. they fired a coach for saying
they fired their
N-word.
They fired the strength and conditioning coach, basically for calling a bunch of players the N-word.
And then I'm sure there's some other stuff, and I don't actually even know if that was true. Anyways, thank you for joining today's Hayden's Iowa Hawkeye update of the week. All right, you were saying.
And that's how the media spreads misinformation.
Yeah, no kidding. I typed in Iowa Hawkeye news fires coach, and I'm like, I can't see anything about any story.
Oh man. But yeah, it seems like Luke, why do they have a there's a cat. Why do they have, when I'm watching the games, why do they have the benches of NBA games in tiers? Is it for space or is it for social distancing?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I saw that and I was like, I guess. I mean, if you got extra seating, there's no fans there, so sit wherever you want. I really don't have an answer. I have no clue what they're doing.
I saw it and I was like, surely they aren't doing this to where it's like we're social distancing as these players are like grinding up against each other while driving to the basket.
Putting each other's mouths.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move this cat. This is absurd.
No, don't. Don't
Hayden
do it.
loves cats.
Want to see the kitty?
That makes one of us.
I'm telling Lauren.
Yeah.
All right, Luke, I've got a couple questions for you specifically. Luke and I grew up, I guess, like, we never lived near each other, but we were always good friends and all that stuff. So we know each other pretty well. So I've got some maybe uncomfortable questions that I want Luke to answer just for the sake of just sheer fun, man. You know what I mean?
This is great. Yeah.
All right, so what was your least favorite chore to do growing up?
Oh, this is cute.
Oh, probably the dishwasher. Still is.
Okay. Well, I would argue that Luke didn't know how to use a dishwasher till he was like 15.
This is weird. I thought this was a segment for me. That's weird. All right. Fine.
You don't have a current NFL allegiance. What would it take for you to jump on a team?
I'd have to be pitched because I really don't know. I mean, growing up, I didn't have any ties to anybody. I mean, in Florida, it was the Dolphins and the Bucks. Dolphins haven't been good since '72. The Bucks are now good, I guess, and
Yeah, supposedly.
we'll see how it goes. Supposedly, they got a guy named Tom Brady in them. That's all right, but
Tim Brady. I think his name's Tim Brady.
Something like that.
Oh, that's what it is. But yeah, no, I don't know what it would take. Just because I don't know. I'd have to go back in time and grow up in a place where football was thriving. I think that's what it would take. Basically, what I'm saying is,
I mean, there's good
I'm a
football in
bandwagon
Florida, but not NFL really since you've lived there.
Oh, not at all.
I mean, the Bucks did win a Super Bowl, but
yeah, but
the Jags almost made it to a Super Bowl.
Ooh,
almost.
The Jags.
those guys.
That was the closest I've come to fandom since really Peyton Manning was on the Colts.
Ooh, why are we talking about this guy? Ugh.
But
the whole sentence he just said is an affront to me.
Yeah, I know.
Ugh.
We hate Luke now.
Ugh. He said, I almost became a Jags fan, except for that time when I almost became a Colts fan. Oh,
yeah, but why did you want to be a Colts fan for Peyton Manning?
I don't know. I like Peyton Manning. I really like Tony Dungy. And as you know, I was a Tennessee Vols fan until I was like 11 or 10.
There it is.
Here you were admitted.
Luke used to have like Luke's bed used to be all Tennessee. Like he had the bed sheets. He had it all.
True.
We both had autographed footballs. Those were the good old days, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Eric Ainge slinging around the yard.
Absolutely.
So what team, if you had to pick a football team to cheer for in the NFL outside of Florida?
Outside of Florida teams?
Yeah. Where would you like just off the dome, like, I like this team.
I think I'm going to write down what I think you're about to say.
It'd be fun to be a Chiefs fan.
Okay.
And
Yeah, Luke's
right
the
now,
biggest front runner I know.
and Kansas City's 2 hours from here, so I could probably swing it.
I thought you were going to say Broncos, so...
As that, because that's where Peyton Manning went next.
No, just because
You do kind of seem like a Broncos fan.
All of my family who live in Nebraska.
Yeah, they're pretty close, right?
Yeah. Plus, they're all from Colorado originally.
Somewhat,
so.
yeah. You're either like a Broncos fan or mainly Chiefs fans are here.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by Chiefs fans.
I gotcha. I had another one. I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Ask me why Jonathan Isaac would have won Defensive Player of the Year if he didn't get injured.
Actually going to bring up Jonathan Isaac. Who's that? He's a player that plays for the Magic. They call him a unicorn. He's like probably 6'11" with like a 7'3" wingspan. He's just a freak. But he's been hurt, but he's back playing with the Magic now thanks to the COVID.
Right. Thanks to COVID, that extended season gave him some more time for recovery.
I mean, COVID is lending well to players that were injured and were able to come back.
Oh, no doubt.
Because the
especially
Grizzlies
NBA guys. I mean,
Grizzlies were real banged up, and now they're pretty much full force, minus Justice Winslow. But
now you've got the Washington Wizards, who guys are injured, opting out. I mean, it's basically a G League team.
Well, them and the Nets, yeah.
Hey,
with the
please
Wizards
don't
and the
use
Nets.
that team name
The
on this
Wizards.
podcast.
The Wizards. How about all Washington, D.C. team names are now offensive?
Yeah, they're all offensive to me. Well, you know what?
Just
Actually,
Washington basketball team, Washington football team.
I just made a joke about it.
Except
but
that-
isn't a Grand Wizard, right? That's KKK. So like technically that could be. Like,
I mean, yeah.
someone. I'm sure someone somewhere got mad about that.
You could tie it back somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, and I've heard people say like, well, are they going to take down the Washington Monument now because George Washington owned slaves? So like the city Washington D.C. is about to get canceled. So just the name, they thought taking away the R words from the football team was going to make it politically correct. Well, now they got to change the whole city name.
Good grief. Just stop. You're gonna make me go somewhere I don't want to go, Elijah.
My head hurts, but I got there. Oh man, Luke, what do you think about Deshaun Jackson hating all? But I had no idea so many people hated Jewish people so much.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was. I mean, I guess I'm just naive, but I didn't know it was like really a thing.
Yeah,
A prominent thing.
neither, man.
But now he's like saying he's educating himself. He wants to take trips to like
Auschwitz.
where the Holocaust was. It's getting really weird.
Yeah, me and Hayden and Braden were talking about it, and I think it was us. And I was like, I had no idea that I mean, like, I know that people make jokes about the Jewish community as far as like money and stuff like that, but like actually hating them, like they've endured enough, right?
I've always heard like the Jews are going to take over the world kind of joke before, but I didn't know
Everyone believed it. Yeah, a bunch of people believed it.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of football players and stuff that double and triple down, and they've not come off of it.
And Nick Cannon and
Yeah. A Nick Cannon. There's two of them, right?
there is?
Yeah, there's the one that got in trouble, and then there's the one that was married to Mariah Carey.
It's the same one, right? Is
I
there
thought it
a
was a
joke?
different person.
Is this a different joke? Are you making?
No, I'm not making a joke. I thought it was a different
That's
person.
the same person.
You're lying.
No, I'm not. That's the exact same.
Okay,
person.
I think what happened was I clicked on an article about it, and a picture of Nick Cannon, the one I know of, did not pop
the
up.
Mariah Carey one.
Well, now Nick Cannon's just gonna get slaughtered on Wild 'N Out now. I mean,
Oh yeah, he's actually still on that. No, wait, no,
It's
no,
his
no.
show.
No, they canceled their agreement with him.
because he hates Jewish people.
Yes, but not. He also hosts, I think, The Masked Singer, but
Yeah,
those people have not.
they need to
canceled
cancel
their
that show anyways.
Yeah, I mean, these headlines about Nick Cannon are wild. Nick Cannon calls Jewish and white people the true savages. And then the next one down, says Nick Cannon learns about Jewish history, Holocaust. After the comment.
Oh, we killed them? Oh, man.
Not we, because he did.
Oh, jeez,
obviously,
Hayden.
But like, they were persecuted. What? World War II? What? That's a thing?
Nick Cannon's going to be shocked to know that the word ghetto actually came from the Jewish people. And he's going to be really mad about that next.
That's cultural appropriation.
No, that is our word. That's our word. Oh, man. That's really funny. Well, learned something new. I learned that was the same Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
I think what's the guy's name that Deshaun Jackson like initially quoted?
Louis Farrakhan.
Farrakhan.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the guy is until all this happened.
And he's super famous, apparently. Super famous.
Not in my circle of friends.
I have a reason why.
Yeah,
It's that the skin tone of all three people on this podcast.
yeah, but like I've asked some of my friends that don't share the same skin tone, and they don't feel the same way about Jewish people.
Did they know about Louis Farrakhan?
Yeah, they knew of him, but they were like, "Nah, man, he's messed up."
Did you just say Lord Farquaad?
I basically that's what it is. I don't know how to say his name. I've only ever heard it. I've always read it. I've never heard it. So
I have so many words like that.
Looking at it right now. Farrakhan?
Yeah.
I didn't know how to say the word integral for the longest time. I'd always read it, and I was like, I have no idea what that word is.
That's funny.
Also thought the word cognizant was made up for a long time.
Wait, what do you mean made up? All words are made up.
Well, like the people just in 2018 were like, hey, there's this word, we're just gonna run with it.
That's
You
really
know what
funny.
I mean? I thought people this is true. I thought people were mispronouncing another word for a
What
long
word
time.
do you think they're like trying to say?
I thought they were trying to say like conscientious,
Okay.
but they were saying cognizant, and I thought it was a made up word.
Are there any words that you think have actually been made up in the past 2 years that you can think of?
Cognizant.
Besides that one, I guess.
Bougie.
What were you gonna say?
Bougie.
Bougie.
But that's been a long. Bougie's been around for a while. I remember like we used to say that when I was a kid.
I'm pretty sure bougie comes from bourgeoisie.
Yeah, bourgeois.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And I didn't know that until like last week. But I just wanted to say, for the sake of thinking new words were invented in the last couple of years.
I thought the phrase social distancing was new, but I went back and I watched that Matt Damon Contagion movie, and which is basically what's
You
happening
would
right
watch
now.
that.
It was cool. It's
During
not
the
a great movie,
pandemic.
but I watched it. And
I thought you were gonna say you like read some news article from 1918 when the Spanish flu hit, and they were talking about social distancing.
I definitely wouldn't have read that. Someone would have read it to me, but that is something I would have
Okay.
seen. But it was from that movie, and they said we just got to practice social distancing, and that movie came out in like 2011, maybe.
Yeah.
So I was really surprised by that.
Luke and Hayden, I guess. Wait. I mean, you can answer if you want. Shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say. It was actually,
Was it about COVID?
yeah, probably. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I think one of the craziest things I've read. I mean, this week is only 2 days long, 3 days, depending on what calendar you're going off of. But the craziest thing that I read over the weekend / this week was that after Dr. Fauci threw out the first pitch, Trump's basically said, I was going to throw out the first pitch at the Yankees game, but now I'm not going to anymore. And the Yankees had no idea that he was going to throw out the first pitch.
They're like, you were?
They were like,
he's friends with
Steinbrenner?
maybe. I don't want to just
Not
start throwing out
George died,
friendships.
whichever the next one is.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but he is friends. I don't know baseball. So Trump is friends with one of the people in high ownership of the Yankees. And so my theory is the guy was like, yeah, we'd love to have you out next year to throw out the first pitch. And Trump took that as an official welcome.
Yeah, probably.
I would. Pitch.
But also, yeah, and it's so funny because you would have to know, like, I worked for a AA baseball team, and I would know just based on that, like, the owner has no idea who coordinates, who throws out the first pitch.
Oh, no, none at all.
But the owner could make it happen.
Yeah. Also, Donald Trump probably thinks he has an open invitation to throw out any first pitch anytime.
Right. Well, and here's the thing. Of course, they don't know. I worked in the G League, and the president didn't even know who was singing the national anthem every night. So of our G League team. So I mean, no chance that he would know.
Would he get booed at a Yankees game?
No fans would boo him. So there's
No. I'm saying if normal situation, would he get booed at a Yankees game?
In New York, probably.
He's also from New York.
That's what I was gonna say. He probably. I still think probably yes. But it would probably be very loud and not one-sided. Now, is there an Oregon team, like a Portland, Pink Hairs or something?
Well, there's Seattle Mariners.
So the Mariners. So like if he were to go to Seattle to throw out a first pitch, he might die.
Well, people are going to take over the stadium and call it their own. So
that's a good point.
They're going to squat on the land.
So
I really am hoping that reason that Trump came out and said like I'm not doing it or however that happened, I really hope it's not because of Fauci getting to throw it out and he was a little mad at it.
It
that's
was.
What's being reported.
It was.
And maybe a little bit.
And how terrifying is it at the president of the United States? By the way, registered Republican here, so I feel like I can say whatever I want about Trump. He
I guess
gets
so.
so frazzled by Fauci saying, like, being able to throw out this first pitch at, like, I don't know, like he's so frazzled that he has to say something.
I mean, if he was
like, do things that I did when I was like 12.
That's the thing, is like he has to act like he has this close relationship with Fauci. Like people think that there's like this divide between them, and then they'll deny it and whatever. It doesn't matter. But so he would never outright say like, "Hate that Fauci guy."
Yeah.
But if he did, he had all the ammo in the world. Be like, if I had thrown it, it would have been the best throw. Fauci didn't even go across the plate. It just went into the dugout. I'm pretty sure it kind of looked like a woman when he threw it. I'm just saying.
Well, even if Fauci didn't have a bat, like if he threw it right down the pipe, like W,
yeah,
Trump still would have said that.
True. That's a good point.
I also picture Donald Trump much more as a Mets fan.
I don't even know. I don't know enough about baseball.
But the thing is,
the Mets are just so bad. That's why I say that.
Well, Trump thinks he's just like the greatest winner of them all, so that's why he's probably a Yankees fan. And
yeah, that is true. He's a front runner for sure.
He for sure be a Patriots fan.
Also, one of my buddies said something to the extent of like, I bet Trump has a cannon on him though. And I said, I can't picture anything about Trump in an athletic environment without seeing that picture of him in tennis gear, where he
stop. Don't want to relive it.
Toward the camera, tight white shorts. You see the whitey tighties line, and just tongue out, just really just ripping a backhand.
There it is.
Brought it up. Oh no. Did you see the picture of him and Brett Favre golfing over the weekend? And
which weekend?
I think it was last weekend. Maybe it might have been earlier, but the pants that Trump has on like completely cover his shoes. Like completely cover his shoes. Why'd you do that?
Because
now we got to mark it not safe for work.
See it.
We got to mark it not safe for work.
That's our president. What are you talking about? It's our president.
Doesn't make it. Yeah, but him and Stormy Daniels. So,
I mean, who hasn't?
Oh man. Well, that seems like as good a place as any to end this podcast. Luke, any last remarks?
No, none at all. Go Magic, go sports.
I think we said it.
Go sports. I just hope both teams have fun at this point.
I just hope, just have fun. Fun on 3.
Yeah, shout out Alec Mills making a start for the Chicago Cubs. Clarksville native making a start for the Chicago Cubs tonight. No big deal.
I like the Cubs.
So
it's my baseball team.
Alec's going to be out there dealing. So thanks for watching this episode. I was going to say I was gonna combine episode and edition,
Epedition.
and then
it
I almost
sounds
say,
like
epidemic.
Can't say that.
Epidemics ain't nothing now. We've lived through a pandemic.
I've already had
thus far.
It's true.
Anyways, thank you for watching this episode of the SummerTree Sports Podcast. Thank you, Luke, for joining us today. Next time, hopefully, we'll have another guest plus Braden on, but we appreciate you joining us, Luke. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Alrighty.
Tell your cat bye.
Bye, kitty cat.